Welcome again to another episode of Deviant History. Today's episode is short and sweet. Oil is the primary thing one thinks about when hearing of modern Saudi Arabia. But it is just recent history. One might be surprised to learn that the ruling Saudi dynasty is much older than the state itself. The early dynastic history looks a bit hazy, but we definitely can identify Muhammad I ibn Sa'd ibn Muhammad ibn Mukrin al-Maridi, who lived in the 18th century, as the dynasty founder. His origin is what is not very clear. According to different versions, he either ruled a small agricultural oasis community near the contemporary Saudi capital of Riyadh, or was a leader of a nomadic Bedouin tribe of the desert. In either case, the first step to his success was the foundation of an alliance with Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab, a religious leader who challenged and opposed the powerful Islamic theologists of that time. We cannot know the intention of Ibn Sa'd precisely, but the conservative Islamic teaching by Sheikh Muhammad founded the ideology of Wahhabism that still defines today's daily life in Saudi Arabia. Ibn Sa'd not only gave asylum to the sheikh, but provided marriage of his son and heir with al-Wahhab's daughter. In this way, all the currently living members of the Saudi dynasty are also direct descendants of the Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. According to the incredibly conservative Wahhabi movement, it was the only accepted form of Muslim worship. All the popular Muslim practices connected to veneration of saints and pilgrimage to their tombs were declared heretical. There was no exception for the Prophet Muhammad's tomb in Medina as well. Music and dances had to be forbidden too. The ideological position also meant that all the surrounding Muslim states became potential targets of jihad, or the holy war, if they did not share Wahhabi ideals. Conquering the desert by Najd ibn Saud's descendants by the 19th century expanded their sovereignty over the major part of the Arabian Peninsula, from the Red Sea to the Persian Gulf, and from Iraq to Yemen. The new political power known as the First Saudi State included territories which are now Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and parts of neighboring Oman, Yemen, and Jordan. In 1801, the Saudi ruler Abdul Aziz I raided Ottoman Iraq, assaulted the Shia Muslim holy city of Karbala, and destroyed the Imam Hussein shrine, and his troops massacred several thousand Shia Muslims in the area. 2 years later, in 1803, Abdul Aziz himself was killed in his capital by a young Shia man seeking revenge for the massacre. By conquering Hijaz with the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, the Saudis challenged the biggest power in the region, the Ottoman Empire. Since 1514, when Sultan Selim the Terrible subjugated Mecca and Medina for the Ottoman Empire, the sultans had added the words, "the guardian of the holy cities of Mecca and Medina," to their full royal title. In addition to that, the Ottoman Sultan was also considered as a caliph, the supreme religious leader by all Sunni Muslims, except for the Saudis. Letting the holy cities stay under Saudi control would inevitably damage the Sultan's authority and his status in the entire Islamic world, from Morocco in the west to Malaya in the east, and demonstrate the weakness of his empire, which was still quite large. It was no surprise, then, that the Ottoman Sultan was furious and unable to tolerate Saudi expansion anymore. Finally, Sultan Mahmud II declared war on the Saudis at the same time he was engaging in an exhausting war against Russia that was already in its fifth year. Since his resources were limited and tied up in the Balkans and the Caucasus, the young Sultan entrusted the campaign against the Saudi state to his vassal, Muhammad Ali of Egypt. Muhammad Ali had been appointed to Egypt in 1805 and made fundamental changes by establishing an army that was well equipped and trained in accordance with the modern European knowledge of warfare. Along with that, Egyptians were well adapted to the hot arid climate and had camels as transportation suitable to the Arabian desert. Invading Hijaz, Egyptians recaptured the holy cities in 1811. Ibrahim Pasha, the son of Muhammad Ali, led the troops farther into the deep desert. But military prowess was not his only strength. Nicknamed the Desert Fox, he was perfect in diplomacy. He figured out who would be his ally in the desert and who could be gifted well to not interfere. Ibrahim maneuvered things in such a way that major Bedouin tribes joined him against the Saudi ruler Abdullah. In September of 1818, the United troops destroyed the Saudi capital, Diriyah, that is now a suburban area of Riyadh. Abdullah was captured and sent to Istanbul. His execution occurred the same year, and his head was exposed in public. Many members of the Saudi dynasty ended up as hostages in Egypt and Turkey. The remainder of the Saudi house finally established the second Saudi state with Riyadh as its capital. It was noticeably smaller, and the Saudis had to wait for another century to take their revenge. And that is a story for another evening. We've hoped you've enjoyed tonight's episode, and we hope to see you again next week. Please like us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bye-bye now.